Good morning, everyone. I am here streaming from Perth, Western Australia. Yes, gosh, I should do a Yildiz readings in her pajamas kind of thing because it seems to be to connect with you guys. I am coming to you at 5:30 in the morning. Also trying to balance obviously my schedule and my clientele as well as the new content I'm bringing to you. I'm upgrading the website and creating seminars, obviously, to be doing coaching and things to that degree via Zoom on the website. But I'll wait for a few people to connect, depending on who's awake in the world. The Schumann resonance had been spiking, and it is actually perfectly normal, especially at a collective level with particular aspects we're going through. You'll tend to, as I mentioned on Facebook, so if you haven't been following me on Facebook, I am now directly connecting on Facebook and Instagram. I'm creating a schedule, which shortly I will be telling you guys the days I'm going to be actually on each medium. And it will become a regular thing so that you guys can actually tune in. Obviously, the creative content that I provide will be, again, towards the end of the month, I'll be doing the zodiac signs for everyone. And I'll continue to look at the financial aspects, the health aspects, your love life and things to that degree, because there are shifts happening. On another level, with the days, there will be particular days, as I mentioned, I will be live on each platform, and it will be actually covering different things. And I did go into energy. So, with the energy of potentially what we're tuning into at a collective level, how to really safeguard your energy when you're going into trigger mode. So I'm trying to prepare tools to give you guys a hand, with the ascension symptoms and things to that degree. Also, at another level, for those of you that are considering starting a business, it's been something I've been meditating on for potentially 2 years. Some of the things I've dealt with on YouTube, running a business, which I've been on YouTube for 4 years, and I've been running the business for 4 years. I have actually thought about, hi Hayley, opening up a secondary channel. Now, initially I didn't, it was Twin Flame Alchemist Union. But again, I did find that a lot of you that were wanting that information were really on here. So on the secondary channel, I am actually considering coaching sessions and things to that degree, which I can still host through Zoom. So if you are considering opening a business and you want tips on websites and how to create booking systems, and I have noticed this, in the wider group, there hasn't really been anything to assist tarot channels. And especially with my experience as a psychic medium, the tools that I use to actually tune in, I am considering opening a channel to support those of you who are moving into creative ventures. And that's more so from the paradigm of the nodes moving into Gemini and Sagittarius. And obviously where we can empower ourselves, where we can actually have businesses ourselves, potentially. And it is quite common when you do go through an awakening where you're wanting to look at a creative way you can provide for yourself, or start launching businesses of your own. And they could be in a very particular niche market. It doesn't have to be tarot, and it definitely doesn't have to be psychic energy. But through the conversations I've had with other tarot channels, which I have been coaching them, it is something that I am interested in doing, more so for those of you who are a bit confused about how to start that process. And I do know, as I mentioned, a few of you on here I'm already coaching. And again, it doesn't have to be a psychic channel. Anything to websites, to advertising on YouTube, how you can go about those things, what the process will be, and tips and techniques that I've actually used. And especially for those of you that are psychic, or you do have channels yourself and you're finding, how do you deal with that energy? How do you deal with the ascension symptoms? Manage your schedule, manage your energy. Those are tips that I can actually bring to the situation. Now, with the astrology this month, I did actually put a community tab up, and it is connecting in with what is going on. Now, it is a read. You do need to actually click on the link and open it, but it is covering the entirety of the month. I do know that, certain astrologers on YouTube tend to go into it just from a week-by-week perspective. On this occasion, starting off, I did connect it in for the entirety of the month. I haven't directly connected Palace and Sirius and things to that degree, which I will continue on it and add. But there are some interesting aspects that are being made, and I have actually documented it for you guys to read, to assist you to look at things in a different way. How many do we have in the house? Everyone's ever so quiet. Do you have any questions while I'm awake at this 5:30 hour at Perth, WA? Have we been cleaning? Have we been spring cleaning? Or have we felt that hermit mode has potentially stifled our creativity? What have we been doing? Hi, Louise. How are you, Dale? How are you feeling today? Are you working in that energy? Is it integrating more? Go for gold, Hayley. Oh, this is late. I mean, when Twin goes to work, sometimes it's 3 o'clock in the morning. This is Yildiz. I'm a Libran that has ADHD. That's good. I'm really glad. So the session worked. Yeah, for those of you that don't know, I do work on your spiritual blocks as well. Hi, Netherlands. How are you, love? Yeah, I do work with twin flames, with spiritual blocks, and you don't have to be a twin flame, especially with Aries and Chiron at the moment. It's really going to be hugely aspected, but because last month we had the new moon in Aries, it does link into our wounds. And so those small things, and even me, as a twin and a medium, we work through these energies, and we do. Another thing you'll find, especially as mediums, you will go through things before the collective. So you may not like it. You'll go through it first, and you'll do that purgatory experience, and you'll be feeling it. A lot of people are reading an awful lot at the moment, and it's not from the perspective of your board. It is very much ascension symptoms orientation. So if you really feel like you're overindulging and you're wondering why on earth that's happening, 9 times out of 10 at a spiritual level, when you're doing that, is to prepare, because you're going to be extremely busy. And it's very similar when you're purging and you just completely go off food. You're getting into light body experience. So you're really being forced to nurture, to upgrade your energy, keep your fluid up, because, dehydration can actually cause additional hunger. But there has been a lot of overeating occurring due to that. Let's read the first question. I moved out a couple of months ago and was loving life. One of my roommates moved out and another one moved in. This one is an alcoholic and seems bipolar. He scares me, so I've had to stay with my dad. Can you get them to move out? Months ago, a psychic told me that my twin and I were going to move in together. I was wondering if... yes, it can be. And the reason I'll tell you, hi Connie, is, look, as I was working with Louise, right? We were working through energy work. And when you reach a certain point in your spiritual path, it is a test. So, how do I explain this? And we worked through this for a good hour and a half, didn't we, Louise? Looking at it from a perspective of when you are energetically moving forward, hi, Ange. When you're getting to a place where you're thinking, this person's not coming, whenever we say it's not about them, it's about you, it's because you're holding a vibration. So it can be disbelief, it can be dis-ease, it can also be rescuer mode, victim consciousness. We all fall through these at a regular basis, and that's everyone collectively, not just twins. When we fall into that and we have a perspective of what another is doing, it is a storyline and a theme, and it will link back to a pain body experience. And of course, because we had the new moon in Aries, it was asking us to turn over that new leaf. So when you look at it, yes, when you are out of alignment and you're doing things because of something, it can be to the degree, okay, at a financial level, this will assist me, so therefore I'm going to do such. But the challenge could be, could we then level up to the point where we could integrate that and have our own home where we're not requiring a flatmate? Some locations potentially not, other locations potentially yes. While we're holding space and we're delaying decisions in our life due to another energy, it does create blocks, and it is all an internal energy. So potentially, how do I give an example? Anytime I would see that in an opinion, my twin needed to do X, Y, and Z, I would be in that egoic perch, and I would look at it, and then I would write down how it directly related to me. At one point, I was looking at their energy that potentially they needed to create healthy boundaries. And it was just one subject matter. And that was an opinion I'd formed. And then I looked at it and I realized in my life how that directly applied. And sometimes we do have this belief system that they're not coming. So we move forward and then we're almost second guessing our intuition about what works correctly for us. So it's not that twin is not coming back. It's more that there is some energy that is out of alignment, which, you get a better deal with it if I can tune into it and I can bounce off with you at a private level to actually dig in and ask Louise. We did that yesterday and we were really digging in, or was it the day before? Really digging into the point of where that wound came from, giving direct examples of how, and then to actually see the mirror of that energy to show how to change that vibration. Now, many people will tell you to send light to twin. And I found in all my years on Twin Flame Path, it was actually the polar opposite, because while I was tuning into how are they going to achieve that, and it could be that your twin may have energies linking in with drinking. Not necessarily, but potentially there could be. There could also be a wound very much linking in with that. So when you're tuning into what they'd need to do, if they have the ability, if it's impossible, you're tuning into their work, not your work. And what that brings up in you is the work that you need to look at. It's like, why is it making you feel this way? Why do you feel that you need to do their work? Do you know what I mean? It's complex. Yeah, so the trigger is coming from the alcohol. It's mirroring an energy of the past. It's needing you to look at it from a different perspective. Hi, Giggle. You might be feeling, Hayley, that maybe their energy can't transform, and that's a real block and it disempowers you. It makes you feel some sort of way. And that if you, in fact, have changed, how then could the relationship ever be? Well, the thing that a lot of us are integrating at the moment is very much the fact that we have changed. And then if we've changed, how is that now possible? You don't need to worry about that. That's their work. But the work is occurring inside you simultaneously. So the blockage in the connection is your egoic belief that transformation is not real, that it's impossible. So tune out of that. And look at your life of how much you've achieved, because it's a egoic belief, and then say to yourself, I am deserving of having a relationship in the 3D. I am also deserving of, not just deserving, I am aware that if I have transformed, any human being on the planet can. This is late. I wake up at 3 sometimes. So does that make sense, Hayley? Because while you're tuning into it, you're holding the vibration and it closes the door. It becomes a spiritual blockage in the journey. Once you detach from things, you will see physical movement happening. It can be communication. It can be your energy going into light body experience. So it comes in a 3D process. Now, the healthy boundaries we talk about, you may need to actually, instead of running, because it's still running, right? You've gone to Dad's, no shade. How can you address it differently? Was that potentially what happened last time? That you felt vulnerable, you felt triggered? Is there something you can do to take your home back? Yeah, and crappy time for that to be happening, but after the fact, it might need to be something that needs addressing. Yes, I think I'm holding on to too much, trying to figure out. You don't need to worry about how he needs to change. If there was dramas before, they are an awareness, it's a problem. Aluna Ash, I went and looked at her channel. I haven't looked at her channel for a long time because I'm too busy doing my own spiritual work. And you may see she is, and I don't know whether I've missed something, but she's not as present on YouTube. You do find that in union. You get to a place where you're integrating and you're going through a transformative state. And I did mention that for those of you that do go into union and you are on YouTube, you will have a quiet time because you're integrating that energy. Now, with that, what you will understand is, as much as we can look at astrology, we can look at transits, we can look at energies and ways to heal ourselves, you also do understand that there is no power. There's no power. It's not real. While you're tuning into a karmic and you feel they have power, you are believing your twin does not have a brain. You are also believing that your twin has no power and that change is not ever possible. But the only thing that is true is that the sun comes up and goes down. And it's the one consistency. So look at your own life and it can actually aid you. And you can say to yourself, okay, have you changed? Where were there difficult times where you felt it was impossible and it was the most disgusting transformation ever? Usually doors, Hayley, close when you spiritually are in a spiritual blockage. And when you detach from it, from a point of view of going, okay, I'm stuck. Again, stuck vibration is usually something occurring within. Once you actually come to terms with it, that not your intuition does not prevent you from adversity. Make peace with your intuition, number one. Then go into the vibration of, okay, I have a problem over here. I haven't quite found a solution for it, but I am trusting that universe is going to give me that. Now, with the Jupiter aspects that are coming through this month, yes, there is change that's coming. While you tune into change as a potential of not happening, I have not found a house yet. You need to rephrase that energy to the door is going to open. I'm trusting in the process and I'm exactly where I need to be. There can be reasons for that. It can be simply as we're speaking right now, you may integrate that energy and by tomorrow you may find vibrational movement and solutions. It's also, blocking yourself into a point you're thinking moving forward means that you're, how do I put it, that you're in control of that. I mean, look at what's going on collectively right now. Control of our own vibration is all we have ever had. Outside of that energy, it's that acceptance that we don't have that control. And this is why at a collective level it's happening. You don't have control over twin, you have control of the vibration and the laws of attraction, which are, as twins, your blockages will be exactly the same in a different shape and form. So how that made you feel disempowered, the healthy boundaries that we say is more healthy boundaries for self. It's like, okay, I will stick up for myself. I will say, I'm sorry, that's not working for me. Or, we need to address this issue. And I call it similar to the Jim Carrey, energy, lie. You can't lie. You end up moving past the point of, could there be a consequence if I say something? Yes, but there's a consequence with everything we do. If you don't say anything, at some point it's going to come up anyway. So you remove that blockage where you feel you can't speak your truth, because if they're going to go somewhere or if you're going to go somewhere, it's inevitable. You also find that when you do come into union, many of you that are going, oh, what if they run away? It's the polar opposite. It's the polar opposite which you'll find arduous, because you find spiritually you can't run, and it's almost like an umbilical cord connects the two of you to deal with your BS. And even if you want to run it, it feels like you can't go anywhere. You can't hide. It's you've reached that ascended state, so you really have to get to a point that you're moving through that. I know that some of my attachment is due to the fact that. So your vibrational healing that could be coming through is your dad could actually mirror. And again, it's self-talk, it's childhood conditioning, right? Because Aries and Chiron is, the wounded healer. It's the conditioning and it's the trigger points. But yes, as I mentioned before, for those of you that are just jumping on, I did want to make mention that I am going to create a sister channel. And it's for those of you that are starting online businesses. I may do coaching through Zoom, so you guys can hit me up with questions if you're a medium and you're running a channel. It can be any industry, Reiki, soul coach, businesses. It's anything to do with advertising, website building, tips of how to keep yourself grounded if, for instance, you were doing something like I do. So that's really one area I'm looking at creating, creative content on. But I'll balance this energy out first. So even if I haven't launched it, feel free to jump on if you've got any questions. I do have a client this morning that I'm going to be doing that coaching with, and I have had about 5 or 6, probably more really, that I do actually do that work with. So if you're thinking about launching a business and you're wondering about how to go about it and you want some help, so yeah, do be mindful the Schumann resonance is probably going to spike. But again, if you can keep yourself grounded, we can actually anchor the energy back in. Just keep picturing the chalk. Later on today, hopefully, I will come to you guys and I'm going to do another update. As I said, I have actually changed the schedule so that there are particular days I will be on Instagram, Facebook, and on the website as well as on YouTube. So it will generally be on Fridays, which in America it will be, say if it was AM, it will be, let me think about that. My AM is your PM. So on a Friday, it will be Thursday evening. So Thursday evenings, more so, I will be here. And that can be for creative content. It can be on the different social medias. But it's Tuesdays, I do believe. Tuesdays, which will be Mondays, because it's always the opposite. Anyway, I'll put the schedule up and I'll time convert it so everyone knows in each place roughly what time it is, but you'll get into the swing of it and start seeing those regular days that I'm coming to you guys. Another reason you'll find on particular channels you don't get as many twin flame reads is because we're dropping codependency. So in the initial stages, you may have been drawn to, okay, what's this doing? What's that doing? When the energy is necessary, we can tune into it. But, look at the style of twin flame reads I do now. I'm trying to give you guys soul coaching because you are preparing to get into twin flame union. And some of the energies that you guys will be going through are not the same as what you've been through. You'll revisit those energies. So yes, it is extremely important to be dealing with your triggers because you won't be prepared to be dealing with that journey. They're going to come up, and you can ask any other twin flame. I do have a few twin flames that are in union. And it is extremely hard work in the first few months. Again, the astrological aspects can impact it further. But you do tend to find that there's a lot of triggers that come up. And it's really testing how ascended you've got. It's really assessing how detached you can be. Detached from a perspective of not control. You need to do this to be this for me, so I don't need to deal with that block. That simply won't work. You'll be shown loud and clear. So yeah, the new content that will be coming through will be, what's your definition of being in union? Well, it's been over a year. That's huge innings. Union comes from self, though. I mean, I'm not defined by, will I die now if I'm not with twin? No. I found home. Home was inside. So a lot of that work was from self. And once you do that, you're not putting the pressure on the connection like they're your complete island. Yes, the connection is, your sanity is important, your health and your trigger points, and you'll find the further into the journey you go, the reason why a lot of people that are in union do say it's not about the twin is because your ascension symptoms are so bloody heavy that you just want them out. You don't want them to control you any longer because they're so heavy. You could be lying on the floor purging and you just don't want to go through that anymore. So it's almost like universe works in a divine way that you physically have to work on those triggers so that you can breathe. And once you do, you just feel that you have purged so much ego. You've faced every dark energy that has been stifling you that you directly realize, where have you been standing in your way with your career, your friendship groups? Where have you been in fair base and trigger mode with family? This separation time is time of integration, and it doesn't have to be a long separation. When we're tuning into, it's going to be a long time, just like it has before. Yes, you directly are extending that because you have a spiritual blockage connected to it. And until you start actually working on that, you won't believe me. You will not believe that in a moment. There have been triggers I've had with karmic energies, and karmic energies aren't bad frequencies. They're energies that have not evolved beyond a point, but they're showing you the mirror. So in a sense, with those time frames that were very stifling for me, when I looked at it from a perspective of this is just for today, by the next day it had evolved. So, when we do talk about Abraham Hicks, you need to look at your own life of where you've had direct examples. And if you can actually see how very quickly, if you change your train of thought, it's like that. Detachment isn't, how do I put it? It's so weird, because I know when I was going through it and I was going through the purging and things to that degree, I was like, what's detachment like? Am I supposed to go off in a different way? And it's just being relaxed, not worrying about what they need to do, not worrying about if they're able to achieve that, coming to terms with the blockages. That's how you ascend quicker. And that's really how you bring union in quicker. And union came from self. It was making peace. And you'll find any times you've come to terms with it, you've had reconnection. So there's something in you right now, if the movement has not occurred, that you have not shifted. And yes, at the end of the journey, it is harder because of the fact you have the tag connected. So you're like, maybe I'm not, maybe I am, maybe I'm the karmic. Again, you're in your head. You need to come to terms with what it is. And, some of you would be like, why did I have to be a TF? Part of your journey is to upgrade. That is part of what it is. So detachment means what's coming into your head. Let go of it, tune into something else. And so many say send light, but while you're fixated on it, notice back in the past. Was anything moving when you did that? As soon as you weren't thinking about them, you'd get contact. So what I'm preaching to you guys, you've already seen. So there's something, when we say send light, you are the light, we're all the light. You need to focus on your lane. You need to understand your self-worth. You need to know that there's no energy higher or lower than you. We're human. And that if that energy is meant for you, it will be attracted to you. Rejection is universe's protection. So we are the karmics within our own energy. But while you're fixated on that, if you want to know if you are or aren't, it's holding your own space. It's you focused on your lane. When the energy starts coming in like a psychic attack, no, I know you can handle this, and breathe the energy out. And I coach my clientele that way. And they're having movement at a spiritual level. The energy will become panicked when you do that, because you're dropping codependency. You're dropping attachment and fixation. And you're shoving your energy onto, which keeps you in alignment. That is your personal power. So when we say healthy boundaries, hi Christina, the healthy boundaries is with thyself. You will never have to worry about how a person acts. You can articulate that, how that makes you feel, and that maybe that road they're going down potentially might not match the road you're going down, and that's honesty, that's integrity. But you if you're needing them to do a certain thing for the sake of you, it's your blockage, and it's going to come up in another connection. Yeah, so just get to a point, if you're wanting to have, and it's self-mastery. That's really what the end stage of the energy is. It's never going to be. Why are you thinking that? Go through your purgatory experience, sit with that energy, and then release. You have a longing, but when you're longing to come home to self as well. So it's two simultaneous energies. That person reminds you of who you are. They're a reminder, they're the mirror of who you are. And the thing is, a lot of times when we do react like a karmic, it's because we're blocked. And that's okay, Hayley. I hope it helped her. It will balance. It's just, getting to a point where you're looking at it from a different perspective, and you're seeing it now. You're seeing physical examples of situations. The energy of what you have at a spiritual karmic level with dad. Do they mirror each other, twin and dad? Or is it the mother and father energy that mirrors? Because there'll always be one tribe energy that will mirror, the parent to the TF. Hey Mark, how are you? Yes, I catch Mark in the most awkward of places, don't I, Mark? We will be doing a live session soon. I do have various people I'm adding to the channel more for interview processes and purposes. So I have requested a friend of mine who is a counsellor. We will see if he decides to come on. Mark also will be on here. Who's another person? Lysiana Moira, who does energy work. Yeah, there you go. So there's a correlating energy. So when you make peace with that, they were your training wheels prior to TF. Now look at it and go, okay, if I can handle you, I can handle you. And then go back to, and you'll find you're probably more giving to TF. My father and my twin, oh my word, I cannot even describe it. So funny because a lot of the masculines are deeply old-fashioned. They may not react in a way that they're old-fashioned, and that's the test. You've got to realize that they're really old-fashioned. So if you're reacting similar to thinking that, okay, well, the karmic is giving them, why are they with the karmic? Why are they giving so much to this person who's treating them like muck? Why are we? The mirror, they're showing you, level up. Don't be so giving, be in alignment. You don't, because we have learned that if we give, we get. Not necessarily. Yeah. There are a lot of people at the moment that will be getting triggered. He triggers you. Okay, what you need to do, Hayley, is when you're thinking about it, and there are a lot of triggers. I know at the moment, my child is very triggered. People that are fighting their ego through this transit of not being able to leave the house. She's been going through a stage of the awakening. And that's only because I do energy work and I'm a psychic medium and I'm a twin and I study astrology. That, some people that are really struggling, how do I put it? When you are focusing on them and giving attention, they're almost addicted to negative behavior. So you need to allow them to sit in that temper tantrum energy. And go, okay. So if they're projecting at you, you need to say, what are you going to do about that? And listen. If they're saying something about you, in one ear, out the other. Yeah, my daughter, I can't explain. I love her so much, but gee, this is really not fun. Not fun at all. 3 years, it's been not fun. I mean, teenagers are like that anyway, but her awakening is like gnarly. And when you've gone through these processes, not because of my age, because I am a light worker and I work through these energies, when you will not listen to anybody, and this is anyone that's going through this transformative state, if you're looking at, it's a bit like at the early stage of the twin flame journey, right? You're going to talk to someone about the same shite, back, 5 minutes, Dale. When you do that, nobody wants to listen to you after a while. And when that happens, the common denominator is you. So it's about you switching it and thinking about it, from your perspective. It's not about what anyone else thinks. What do you feel about it? What do you think about it? Egoic comprehension, understanding, so that you can make peace with it. And as soon as you do, you see movement. But you're seeking outside of yourself. Thus the reason why we see the synchronicities with numbers. It's a part of the transformation. So you'll start seeing dual numbers, and then when you're reaching the point when you are in more alignment, you'll see the 1-400, which I see 444, 111, 1-400 all the time. It's more so, and then you probably won't see any at all unless you're tuning. My TF and I are been bonding since. You didn't do anything wrong. It's a process at the moment, Nadine. So you are placing no expectation. It can mean, Connie, that something's going to happen around that time. Now, okay, so in a sense of communication, you are trying to create a safe space with that expectation. So if twin contacts you and they happen to be in a karmic energy, as long as you're not getting to the point where you're talking romantically and we need to do this sneaky behavior, that's different, okay? That's causing karma. You do not want to be going there, especially the longer you are on the journey. You don't want to be going there. You need to allow that person to be open with you, to express how they're feeling and be that friend energy. Yes, you have a spiritual connection, but don't feel as soon as you got that attention, when it's gone, you go into panic and spiral mode. That is where the work's needing to be done, because it should not define you. Be grateful for the gift of what's been received and then tune directly into your own energy. Nothing you've done is wrong. You're fixated on that and it's a conditioning. So detach from that, be in fluid energy, and you'll get more communication. Ending cycles at the moment is it's a process. It doesn't happen right away, but these processes are coming really fixated in everyone's minds because of the pandemic. Again, it will be something going on our side of the fence, and that's why I do the soul coaching. I do the twin flame reads are the energy, but they're about coaching for you guys to get you to see where the blockage is, to remove it as quick as possible to get the physical movement happening. Because sometimes we hit a snag point, it's just not moving. So unless you can actually pinpoint what that is and move into that fluid energy, no movement happens, and it feels like all doors are closed. It can even be something that you're choosing not to do based on, and that can be moving a house. This is an example. I know we're in quarantine. Moving house, changing jobs, doing something for you because, it might impact the connection not teeing up in the road. It's not for you to align yourself in that road. It's for you to align where your life is going, without the paranoia that if you make a decision, it'll never be. That's not so. You could be at the other side of the world. It doesn't mean to say it's not going to happen. You need to live in the moment of choice at all times. And when you're preventing making major choices for you, it actually blocks the movement because you're out of energy alignment. Makes sense? For instance, you could be working at a job with your twin, yet you're detached from the job. And so you're thinking if you're not there, somebody else will take them. That's not true. It's an out of alignment energy. It's a codependent fixation. You know, the art of appreciation 9 times out of 10 is when you're not there. Yet you're thinking the polar opposite. If they're not hearing from me, it means they're going to forget me. No, it's the polar opposite, the art of appreciation. So everything serves a purpose. Yeah, and I've said that. It's the nodes changing. You'll see, we'll have the eclipses in June and July. That will be a very heavy karmic shift. You know, some astrologers have been saying that, that's already really happened. I beg to differ. The energy of the eclipses is cycling it out and creating new cycles. So, the nodes in Cancer are family, tribe, connections. I mean, some of you are revisiting parents. If you haven't made peace with that, that comes about. And that did come through in my twin flame path where I've returned home. I love you, Mum, but that was not fun. Yeah, I was too old for that. Well, I don't know what the next node's going. Well, I kind of do. It's Mercury energy. The node's going into Gemini is our socialization. Saturn retrograding at the moment into Aquarius is nervous system. Feeling dizzy and vertigo. Yeah, it's the ascension through the Schumann resonance spiking, but it's also the crown chakra. We still do have the energy of Mercury in Pisces, so if you can use it as creative energy downloads, great. Take your shoes off, do your breathing exercises, keep your fluid up. But no, it's going to pass. Just go with the flow of your symptoms, right? Instead of fighting it and trying to get things done, the universe is asking you to slow down, so listen to your body. If you need to eat, do as such. If you need to not eat and you just detach from food, listen to your body. Do what it's needing you to do. Because it's really because you're aligning yourself with soul, okay, with yourself. Hi, Cynthia. I was looking at your profile this morning on Skype. Was I tuning into you, lady? I was like, Cynthia, it's going to be okay. I love you, baby girl. Cynthia is a long-time subscriber and client. I do have some wonderful, wonderful clients that are friends. You know, you guys are all my friends because we're a team. We're working together. I tell you the good, the bad, and the ugly of my life. We've shared tears together. We've laughed together. We've been furious. And Cynthia really underestimates how far she's come. Yes, she really does underestimate how far she's come. Yes. Yeah, there is a lot of heart chakra. What have I been picking up? Okay, number one, I've been seeing dragonflies. There was one, as I posted on Instagram. Red, more linking in with, base chakra, foundational change, the death of the old, which is a spiritual energy. Letting the old go. And not being too scared. If we have no control, it was going to happen anyway. What are we fighting? It's a bit like I said, in nursing. There were elderly people that were and we even see it with our parents. Why are you listening to that music for? Yet you'll have other people that will be listening to modern music and they're 99 years old. So we can, Abraham Hicks, allow the change and transformation. If you're going down the rapids, you're going to end up down them at the end of it. Walk into it. Just know that this transformative energy is going to be, we chose to be on the planet at this time. So it's inevitable, right? Yeah, so I have put an information video on the website at a very basic level. I'll upgrade it a bit later where I can take it step by step. But just remember when you're booking, if you're having trouble, inbox me. I can manually help you with it. If you're confused on the times, Perth, Western Australia time is what it needs to be booked in. So if you need to change it to actually look at the time zone, change it directly back to the time. Plus, I've placed a clock on there now, so you know where I am, what time it is, so you can count the hours back and look at what it will be in your time zone and what it is where I am. And again, if you're confused, chuck me an inbox message. I have the app with me at all times. Yes, I do sleep, even though I'm awake bloody early. But I do actually connect in and, can manually do such or give you a hand on how to do that. So I can tell you the best booking. Now, I have changed the time frames. I have actually opened later sessions for those of you that are wanting AM, for instance. I have opened some. They do make me fatigue, so I've staggered them so it's not too much. And I do have AM sessions as well as I've blocked certain points out so I can be live on different platforms. So we're getting a bit of everything. We're getting a bit of evening, a bit of AM. Yeah, I'm working on it. I have fixed everything around, so I'm rescheduling clients where it mucked up. I've reconfigured the email. You're never going to lose your booking. I'm just going to manually do it. Yeah, not fun. So it does need to be shifted back. So I can't really do anything about the clock conversion that they've got in there. I'll have to have a look at it, but you need to convert it back to Perth WA time. So when you're looking at it, that's fair enough. But once you go to book it, it needs to be Perth WA. No, not at all. I'm not a mean person. I'm very patient. I've been with the website for 4 years. That's why I've put AUD, USD on there, so every place gets a basic idea. I've got the currency converter on there. I've got the time zone converter on there. I've got different styles of bookings. I've put the information video there to coach you guys how to do it, because it's like a doctor's surgery booking system or a hotel booking system. So once you get the gist of it and you've done it the first time, it's never difficult again. Some people are so scared, instead of messaging me, they book a video reading, which that's fine. And then it gets delivered straight to your inbox. But if you are wanting a Skype, you don't have to have your camera on. That's another thing. If you guys are a bit, don't really want to have the camera on, you want to be in privacy, you'll get over that pretty quick, because once you get to know me, you'll prefer to have the camera on so we can laugh about life. But yes, that's not a problem. So I do telephone, email, video, recorded video sent to you, and then Skype. And yes, at times, if you need to connect on Messenger, I'm happy to do that for people as well. Yeah, just keep productive, jot down ideas, get into a meditative practice, know it's going to pass, keep everything very basic. And a lot of what you have been avoiding at a spiritual level is going to come up during this time. So just let it come up, look at it, understand what it is. Be kind to yourself when you're going through that. Yeah. It will be okay, doll. It is. I mean, trying to tell your children that this could go on for a long time. Again, same as being kind of an energy manifester. Try not to fixate. Fixate on your circle of concern. Yes, it's important to be responsible and to look at information, but don't bombard yourself. It's not going to serve you any. Especially if you're needing to get grounded, because, it's a bit like the airplanes going down. You've got to look after yourself. If you don't, you can't help anyone else. So if it means spreading beautiful vibes, touching base with a friend and saying, hey, how are you doing? Looking at positive posts. There's police officers that are singing to, elderly ladies where their birthday is. There's people on the streets, coming out in their apartments singing. The air's clearing up. You've got to look at the light. If we only fixate on the negative, we're not seeing that there is a transformation happening in front of our face. There's more clouds in the sky. You can actually see the sky now. I'm getting more hay fever because the air's clearing. There's more birds. There's goats in the street. Oh, goodness. Yeah. You won't need to cut any grass if you get the goats out on the street, that's for sure. It's true. If we've had people live through world wars, let's be humble here. This will be a life-changing historical moment. I smile at people like, here, we are allowed at a very limited time to go to the shop and get food and come back out. Make people laugh. Smile at people. There are some people that are that triggered, they're like this, and if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. Wash your hands. Wash your hands, go home. Focus on faith. Keep positive, eat healthy, drink fluid. Getting stressed actually puts your body and the nervous system at risk of getting a cold. So, keeping grounded and eating healthy is very important. That's in your circle of concern of what you can at a spiritual level. That's why we need to seek the good news and share it with people around us to keep them motivated. And I swear I just saw a dandelion, which means my grandmother's haunting me. Anyway, I better go. I'll come back a little bit later today. I have 3 clients today. In between upgrading the website and I've got to add Zoom on it, and I'm still meditating upon different things I'm going to do in the join button and things to that degree. So I'm reformatting everything. Still yet need to do the Venus retrograde energy, which will be for a few months. It's okay. Look at it this way, and I totally agree with you, Mark. There is a reason our adrenaline pumps when we need to address something, and that's if somebody's going to get hit by a car. If we're not in direct harm's way and we're actually at home, we're doing the right thing, right? Washing our hands. that energy is getting your vibration into, it is an egoic purge, because you're triggered. Yes, you wish you could do something. If you can do something positive. But if you can't, you need to focus on the people and the energy at home. Anything other than that, you are placing yourself in dis-ease unnecessary. If it's out of your control, spread the high vibes. Do what we're required to do. It's temporary. Check your space. Yeah, I noticed. I'll see you soon, Cynthia. And then, you literally fix it. It's like an egoic purge, because you're like, I'm vulnerable. Yeah, well, you're at home. If you're at home, you're all good. If you're keeping your house clean, if you're limiting your contact, with direct people, depending on where you are in the world, it's going to be fine. We need to be patient. Patience is a virtue, right? Yeah, my grandmother used to say I'd drive a saint crazy. That was when I was younger. See, I was purging ego. I was very, very hypers. Get into exercise. Do those things that you haven't done for a long time. No, not at all. Not at all. I don't look at Venus retrograde as bad. Now, newbie relationships, yeah, potentially. Because you're assessing old energies. Look at it that way. That's really the way I do actually look at a Venus retrograde. It is there for us to assess our mindset on things connected to the past and where we are currently. So it may be an energetic shift inside you. So you may say, hey, I like Swiss cheese. And then after the fact, and you might have viewed something in a particular way. So it gives us an opportunity to revisit that. But if you're codependent on the fact that, if they come back, they're only going to go. No, it's not magic. Venus retrograde is not magic. It can't do that. It is a cycle to open for you guys to address wounds. It can be friendship groups as well. You might have had a BF that you had a falling out with, and suddenly you hear from them and you're talking about that wound and you're trying to resolve it. It's there for a reason. You may have had a twin or a love interest come back and there's unfinished business that needs to be addressed, and you see the good, the bad, and the ugly. And you reach a conclusion at the end of that. It's a spiritual process. And it will end up with our finances, because it's just not, it's Gemini energy, which is Mercury, so it's deep communication. It's also your day-to-day routine and, the time you were spending with particular individuals. Were you giving too much over here and not enough over there? Mars retrograde is going to be interesting. Some of the aspects, which I will do an astrology update, I'll read basically what I wrote for those of you that can't be bothered to read. I will actually give you guys an interpretation of it. I'll try and condense it, what I wrote, in relation to the astrological aspects for April. Anyway, I'm going to love you and leave you. Thank you for the super chat and thank you for the donations. Deeply appreciate. Oh, I'm sure I will. I'll have phone calls from Twin and then I'll have... Oh, Mark, you'll laugh about that. We'll talk about that privately. And then my daughter will come out from her skeleton room. I mean, I do actually call Venus retrograde Michael Jackson Thriller, because all your skeletons are going to come out of the closet, because we're going to be really assessing that, judgment. The energy of Juno retrograde is in Libra, which is justice. The justice card in all my private reads has been coming up reversed. So at a karmic level, if you've done something shady, it's going to come up. It's going to come up. To be resolved. You might not be seeing eye to eye, because the Gemini energy can be very independent, very social, where I want to go over here and do this, and maybe it doesn't match with what a partner energy felt or feels. But I'm not finding it to be negative, no. Don't freak. You need to be open to all experiences. Be like Buddha. Be open. Be open to all experiences. It all serves a purpose. Yes, I will. It was so funny. You know what I'm talking about. MIA. Okay, love and light, guys. If you're needing a booking, you can go to the link below after the video is uploaded. feel free, if you want to have a creative channel, linking in with how to launch businesses, how to launch a YouTube channel, websites, anything to that degree, scheduling, hit me up and we will do that. Love and light, guys. Thanks, Mark.